Hello, my name is Cassandra. I'm a FAIR volunteer. I currently serve as the board chairman of FAIR, and we are so excited about the amazing presentations that we heard at this year's FAIR conference that we started this video series in order to give you just a brief summary of the presentations that we heard. This video is about what was actually my favorite presentation at this year's conference by President Brian Ashton. He's the president of BYU Pathway Worldwide, and the title of his presentation was BYU Pathway, Serving the Hidden Many. This presentation is near and dear to my heart. I pulled a few strings to be able to get it to happen. We're really fortunate that President Ashton was able to come to the conference and speak. I heard a version of this presentation several months ago, and I just thought we have to have this at FAIR. At first glance, it's not really a natural fit of a subject for a group and a conference that are about defending the church from criticism. But I think at second glance, it is a really good fit. The reason is I think that sometimes a lot of us who are dealing with criticism of the church, trying to help people who are struggling in their faith, and those who are struggling also, we can get in a bit of a bubble. We are English-speaking first world members of the church, and sometimes we come to feel that our culture's criticisms and problems with religion in general, or the church specifically, that those criticisms and that worldview is what there is the whole story. But it's not. There's a whole big world out there where things look really different, and the church has a lot going on in a lot of places in the world. And one of the most important things that the church has going on in the rest of the world is BYU Pathway. President Ashton made it very clear that BYU Pathway is not just about getting people a college degree. This isn't just about a diploma. This isn't just about passing classes or being able to say I went to college. It is about building Zion. Very specifically, it is about making sure that there are no more any poor among us. He quoted several scriptures about how the Lord will establish his people, his chosen Israel. And he said that sometimes he's talked to people, church members who live in places with a lot of economic challenges, that sometimes they feel like they've been forgotten, they've been left behind. And that President Ashton feels so strongly that this opportunity for education is a huge part of the Lord's answer to that feeling, that they're not forgotten. They have this opportunity not just to be, not just a magic wand and poof, all of a sudden your life is better, but to be able to receive an education, to grow in skills and in opportunities and strength, and eventually to be able to have employment that will allow everyone to support their family, to be able to help others, to serve in the church, to build Zion in turn. One of the great innovations of BYU Pathway is that it doesn't just focus on general education courses first. A lot of other schools, there's kind of a sequence that you get the general education courses out of the way, and then you move on to the more skill courses that might be more relevant to getting a job. Pathway turns that around. Instead, the idea is certificate first, that you get job skills right away and you get a certificate saying that you have these skills. And then once you have that certificate, you're able to hopefully get a better job right away, and then continue your education, and then get into some of the general ed requirements. And it's not to say that those aren't important, not at all. They are. These are legit degrees that teach everything that an educated person is expected to know. But students are more likely to stay in the program, to finish, and to be able to have progressive success in their career if they have those certificates and those skills up front right away. I think it's a brilliant development, and President Ashton quoted a lot of statistics that show that yes, it is working. He talked about the increased income that a lot of BYU Pathway students have. He talked about some specific success stories that are inspiring but not necessarily unusual. A lot of the students are doing so much better than they would have been able to without Pathway. And one tidbit too, he said that in some countries, if you do not go to the university, the slots at a university are pretty limited. And if you choose to serve a mission at that age instead of taking that slot at a university, you're out of luck. That's a really tough dilemma for anyone to be able to have to deal with. And BYU Pathway is the answer. You can serve a mission and then you can come home and you can study and get a degree through BYU Pathway. And the degree is through BYU Idaho or Ensign College. It's not, you don't have the stigma of being some podunk online school that's not legit. It's an American institution of higher education, accredited. These are really worthwhile degrees. He also showed a video of one student who's been through the Pathway program talking about how his employer, who is a globally known company, said that going to Pathway was a really great choice because they were looking for employees who are used to working with people across country lines. Well, part of the Pathway program is having online meetings with your fellow students who could be from all over the world. And so students already have that experience and that skill of getting along with people in other countries, other languages, other cultures, and it makes them really valuable employees. And this young man, who was hired by a major multinational company, he also then was able to go and hire more BYU Pathway students and graduates, which is another great thing about the Pathway program. They're not just working on the education, but they're also working to develop contacts with potential employers for their students. I could go on about this for quite some time, but suffice to say that BYU Pathway is absolutely an inspired program. I love that we are a church that encourages education. All three members of the first presidency have a PhD in their field. That's really, really cool when you think about it. We are not a church that says, education is dangerous, too much knowledge is going to lead to you getting questions and doubting your faith. Instead, we encourage education because when you experience more and know more, you can share more and help to spread the gospel and to build Zion and to accomplish incredible things in your life as a member of Covenant Israel, as a person of faith and someone who is a disciple of Jesus Christ. And so we will get a transcript up of President Ashton's talk soon on our website, fairlatterdaysaints.org, and eventually we will post the video as well. As always, if you have any questions or need any help, please write to us. We love to help. And if you love the work we do, please donate. We love that. Thank you so much. Bye.